Welcome back to Just Campers and Project 2022. Today I'm going to show you how to install our Eazy Bed, which is an electric rock and roll bed. So with the Eazy Bed, you get a fitting kit. This is the fitting kit. It comes with some nice heavy plates that go underneath the floor, so when you drill through, you've got the support with your nut underneath. It has washers that go underneath the head of the bolt. They obviously go down through the bed. Also, there's some optional extras. So we have isofix for the kids. These literally just bolt to the frame of our bed, like such. And then with the foam on it, it covers up that part and you have to push the foam back to put your isofix in. We've got a pair of those on this one we're going to put in, both sides. Also for extra safety, we have a chassis stiffener plate. Now this goes underneath the vehicle and you have to drill through this plate and drill through the chassis as well. To fit the Eazy Bed, we need to have it in its collapsed state. When it's like this, it just will not fit in the vehicle. So around the front here, we have a release mech. So we pull this release mechanism up, and that will allow the bed to start to move forward, and then we can do the rest of it on the electrical switch. So we managed to get the bed in. As you see, it's not a one-man job for sure. You definitely need a minimum of 2 people. The other thing I found that we had to do was drop the seat belts. So we just loosened the bolts off so we could move the seat belts. Because when they're up, it doesn't give you enough turning room with our furniture in. So with those pushed down, it was a lot easier. We've now put it roughly into position. We've put our cushions on so we can make sure that we've got enough room around. We want to try and leave a gap all the way around at every edge. So here we don't want it touching the furniture, here we don't want it touching the side of the van, and we don't want it touching the back of the van either. But most importantly, when we're drilling through, we need to make sure we're going through to the right point underneath the vehicle. So that's the next thing to do. We're going to fold it up, make sure it sits and doesn't touch the sides, and then after that we're going to start measuring up for our drilling through underneath. These are little black caps that fit over the bolts on the frame of the bed. So to give us a little bit more room, actually quite a bit more room, we've removed these from both sides. Pop! So they come off, and that's actually given us enough room now to get the bed centralised. First thing you need to do before drilling the holes for your bed is to remove some of the stuff from underneath the vehicle. Now, everything we have here on the floor, this is our plastic under tray that houses our spare wheel. So obviously the spare wheel comes out first, then this plastic tray. They're held in with 8mm and 10mm headed bolts and a couple of quick release washers. The same with this side. So we get that out of the way as well, and this side, this is the heat shield for the exhaust side of things, so we get that out of the way too. Once that's all off and the spare wheel's out, then we're clear to drill through. I'm going to drill through the wood first and through the vinyl. I've got a slightly shortened drill bit here. This is 12mm, so this is the size of the bolts we're using. We're using M12 to bolt these down. So I want to use the wood as a guide, so I'm going to go through as straight as I can, through the wood only, on all 6 fixings. Then we can move the bed and then I'll drill through into the steel work. You can do this several ways. The other way to do it is you could use a bit of masking tape underneath and draw down through the hole on all 6 of them and start with a pilot drill and work your way up. Or you can go straight away with the large drill through the wood to give you a good guide. So we're going to try this way. And we're just going to drill through the wood. On these front holes, I've got to drill obviously the last 2. I can't fit my shortened drill bit and my drill in because of the bed frame. So this is where we go back to our masking tape. So I've slid a piece of masking tape underneath the hole on both bits. And I'm just simply going to mark it with a pen. The position will be on our masking tape and we can drill through. So using our 12mm drill now, obviously we're going to put it back through our hole that we've made. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to make a little centre spot for our pilot drill to go through. So again, put your drill back in the hole, hold it nice and central, and we're just going to drill for a bit. There's a little centre spot in the middle. So that little centre spot in the middle is what we're going to start through to drill through with our 1/8 or 3.2mm drill bit. So we're going to do that for all 6. Use our 12mm to spot the middle. Then we're going to use our 8th or 3.2mm drill bit to actually make the pilot hole. So that's our first hole, and then we work our way up to at least 12.5mm. So the next drill bit I'm going to use is either a 5 or a 6, and then maybe do a 10, and then maybe do a 12 and a 12.5. All our holes are drilled, and we've just pushed all our bolts through, so they all dropped in position just to test them. Look, so we know that that fits lovely. So we're going to take these out and put our washers on our heads, and then we'll go underneath and put the brackets and the nuts on. This is our spreader plate. That fits up over our bolt like so. And then we've got these lovely nylocks, nuts. So we'll just spin them on loose for the minute. There's one. So we have our nuts and spreader plates fitted to our rearmost fixing and our frontmost fixing. Now the centre fixing itself, we're actually going to be using this, which is an extra spreader plate with a bit more support. That actually goes right away across the vehicle. So this is going to basically fit here. We're going to have to drill holes in here and drill holes in the vehicle chassis as well. But this will just give you so much more extra strength and make it much more rigid. I'm going to start off with an 1/8 drill or a 3.2. I've marked the holes through our bracket with our pen, so I'm going to drill these two first and get this side bolted up, and then we can mark and drill the other side. So from our 1/8 drill bit, we're going to go up to probably 5, 6, then an 8mm. I'm probably going to finish on around a 9mm drill bit. So with our strengthened bar bolted in place, last thing we need to do is drill through so we can fit our downward bolts through. So a little trick is paint the bottom of the bolt, like so. We'll put him in the hole, drop him down, and he'll touch on our masking tape and leave an impression and a paint dot. So we'll do the same this side, and then we know where to set our drill up. As you can see, we've got two lovely circles where our bolts have touched, so we need to make those holes now. We're going to start with our 1/8 or 3.2mm drill bit. It is very thick, so it will take a little while, so you have to be patient and have some sharp drill bits. Obviously, member of the old protection. Holes are drilled. Took a bit of drilling because it's pretty thick, but there we go. So we're ready to fit. So tightening up the bolts from inside and underneath is a bit of a two-man job. So you're going to need somebody inside with the spanner holding the bolt head and somebody underneath, which would be me, tightening up the nuts. Obviously, if you're doing this and you're doing it on axle stands, do make sure your axle stands are really well planted and that it's safe to get the person inside. So these are our isofix brackets that come separately. We're going to add them to our bed frame and that will complete it. The holes are already in the bed frame, so it's just quite simply a case of bolting it together. So all we've got left to do is fit our cushions, but before we do that, we're going to wire the bed up. So I've made a quick loom for our bed wiring. This cable's a little bit heavier because we measured our bed and the amount of amps that it draws. So during sort of normal operation with the bed, it draws about 5 to 6 amps. With any resistance on the bed, say if you get something stuck or you still got your child sat on it, it can sort of draw up to nearly 10 amps, somewhere around there. So we're going to set the fuse rating at a 10 amp. So anything over that will pop the 10 amp fuse. But also our wiring, we need to go bigger than our original wiring we were using for our lights, which was only 11 amps. So we're going to run 16 amp wire for that, which is what I've done. So we've got a positive and negative wound together all the way through, and that is long enough to go up over and follow our original wiring loom and then drop down to our bed switch. So the first thing we're going to do is hook up our fuse box. So we've got our live feed we're going to take off of our number 4 fuse, which is what we wrote on our legend, so I know which one it is. And then our black will go to our earth. So the next thing is getting our wiring from our bed here. I've plugged it in and getting it into here so we can wire up the switch.
Now, the wiring came from down here and it was obviously going to run along the side of the floor. So what I've done, I've peeled up our lino, just a small amount, and then chiseled out a small gap for our wiring to sit into and then re-glue the floor back down. Also, I managed to peel away our carpet just in this corner to feed our wiring up and down through there. So that's that, and then a bit of spray glue and we go back. The next thing, obviously we drill through here so we can screw and make this panel secure. As you can see, the wiring's up there quite nice and neat, all out of the way. Obviously be careful when you're drilling through that you don't drill through your wiring, so make sure that's out of the way before you drill through to secure with a screw. All screwed on nice and neatly, the wiring's hidden, we can now use the bed. Next part would be to secure our cushions to our bed. So what we've done here is obviously laid the bed flat, we've put our cushions on in place. The next thing we do is obviously line our patterns up and make sure that we've got enough gap either side for the bed to operate. Once we're happy with the gaps and our patterns lining up, then we go underneath and we screw it together. As you can see, we've just got our self-tappers here which go through our little brackets and screw into the base of our cushions. So again, it's obviously important to make sure your cushion's in the right place before you put these in. Simply just wind these in with our battery-powered drill, or you can start off with a little pilot hole and then use a hand screwdriver if you wish. So it's sometimes handy to do it with somebody else so they can hold the cushion on top and stop it moving about when you're trying to get your screws in from underneath. So that's our Eazy Electric bed, fitted and tested, complete. Really pleased with that, works really well. To find out more information on this product and products that we've used in this van so far, please visit our website, justcampers.com, and follow us on our social media.